Liam had always felt a special connection to the forest. From the time he was a child, he loved walking through the tall trees, listening to the birds singing and feeling the soft moss under his feet. There was something peaceful about the forest, a kind of quiet magic that made the world feel lighter. He loved the smell of wet soil after the rain, the way sunlight filtered through the leaves, and the gentle whisper of the wind as it moved through the branches. Most people thought forests were dark or lonely places, but to Liam, they were full of life and hidden wonders. One morning, while he was walking along a narrow trail far from the village, he saw something unusual. Hidden between two large oaks, there was an old hut. The wood was gray and worn, the roof had holes, and the windows were broken. Vines had climbed up the walls, and the door hung loosely on its hinges. The hut looked abandoned for many years. Despite its poor condition, Liam felt a spark of excitement. He imagined what it would be like to fix it and make it his own small home in the woods. Later that day, Liam went to the local town office and discovered that the hut was for sale. The price was very low, much lower than a normal house. The villagers laughed when Liam told them he planned to buy it. "Why would anyone spend money on that old thing?" they asked. Some even shook their heads and whispered to each other that he had lost his mind. "It will fall apart in a week," one neighbor said. "You'll regret it," another warned. Liam just smiled. He didn't care what others thought. He had always believed that the best things in life were not always obvious. Sometimes treasures were hidden where no one expected them to be. He decided to use his last $10,000 to buy the hut. For Liam, it was not just about the hut itself. It was about the adventure, the challenge, and the possibility of discovering something unique. He signed the papers and walked into the forest with the keys in his hand, feeling a mixture of nervousness and excitement. The hut was smaller than he had imagined. The floorboards creaked under his weight and dust covered every surface. Spiderwebs hung from the corners and the air smelled old and damp. Liam spent the first few hours cleaning and exploring the hut. He noticed details he had not seen before. The walls, though cracked, were made of strong wood. The chimney, though blackened with soot, was solid. The windows, though broken, could be replaced. Despite its appearance, the hut had a strange charm. It felt alive in a way that modern houses never did. That night, Liam lit a small fireplace to warm the hut. The fire crackled and cast dancing shadows on the walls. He sat on the old wooden chair near the fire and thought about his decision. He knew it was risky. People might continue to laugh at him, but for the first time in a long while, he felt truly happy. He felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. As he unpacked a few belongings, Liam noticed something strange about the floor. One of the floorboards looked newer than the others. It didn't fit perfectly with the rest, and it seemed slightly raised. Curiosity pulled him closer. He lifted the board carefully and discovered a small hole beneath it. Inside, there was a dusty wooden box worn by time but still sturdy. Liam's heart began to beat faster. He gently pulled the box out and wiped off the dust. When he opened the box, he found papers, old maps, and letters tied with faded ribbons. The handwriting was careful but old-fashioned. Some pages were yellowed and brittle, but the writing was still clear. Liam could feel a strange excitement building inside him. These were not ordinary papers. They were clues, hints of something hidden, something important. He could not understand everything at once, but he knew he had stumbled upon something remarkable. The letters spoke about a previous owner of the hut who had lived there many years ago. They mentioned strange paths in the forest, a small hidden pond, and old landmarks that no one seemed to know about. The maps were hand-drawn, showing trails through dense trees and hills with marks that suggested secret spots. Liam could not believe his eyes. It was as if someone had left him a treasure hunt, a mystery waiting to be solved. That night, Liam barely slept. He lay in the old bed thinking about the papers and maps. Questions swirled in his mind. Who had left the box there? Why had they hidden these clues? What was waiting to be found? He felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. He knew the next days would be full of adventure. He imagined walking through the forest, following the maps, and discovering something no one else had ever seen. For the first time in years, his life felt full of purpose and wonder. The next morning, Liam woke up early. The sun was just rising and light poured through the broken windows, casting golden patterns on the dusty floor. He ate a simple breakfast, then carefully studied the maps again. He marked a few points he wanted to visit first. The forest seemed even more alive than usual. Birds sang from the trees, and the morning mist moved gently across the ground. Liam took a deep breath and stepped outside. The hut looked ordinary from the outside, but he now knew it held secrets. As he walked along the first trail marked on the map, he noticed signs he had never paid attention to before. Unusual rocks, markings on tree trunks, and small clearings in the forest that seemed out of place. Each clue made him more excited. He realized that someone had planned this carefully. The more he looked, the more he felt like he was following the footsteps of someone who wanted to be remembered. Liam smiled. He loved puzzles and mysteries, and this one was perfect. Back at the hut, Liam started keeping a journal. He wrote down everything he found and every thought that came to his mind. He drew parts of the maps and copied some notes from the letters. He wanted to make sure he did not miss anything. With each page, his excitement grew. He felt like an explorer in a world that no one else understood. Days passed and Liam continued his careful investigation. He repaired small parts of the hut as he could, making it safer and more comfortable, yet his main focus remained the hidden clues. Each time he lifted a floorboard, checked a tree, or followed a path, he felt like he was stepping closer to something incredible. The villagers continued to mock him when they saw him carrying old papers or walking into the forest. "He is wasting his time," they said. Nothing is there, but Liam did not care. He knew that sometimes the greatest discoveries are where no one else thinks to look. One evening, after a long day of exploring, Liam returned to the hut and sat by the fire. He spread out the maps and letters in front of him. He noticed patterns he had not seen before. Certain symbols repeated on the maps. Some letters mentioned hidden compartments, small spaces where treasures might be kept. A sense of anticipation filled him. He could feel that he was very close to uncovering something important. As the firelight flickered, Liam imagined what it would be like to finally solve the mystery. He thought about the joy of discovering something unique and the pride of doing it himself. The hut, which once seemed abandoned and useless, now felt like a gateway to adventure. Liam realized that his decision to buy it was more than just a choice, it was destiny. The hut had chosen him, and now it was time for him to unlock its secrets. Liam went to sleep that night feeling a mixture of excitement and calm. He had found the first clue, and he knew that more awaited him. The forest seemed to whisper to him as he drifted into dreams. He imagined hidden rooms, secret messages, and a treasure that could change his life. For the first time in years, he felt alive in a way he never had before. The journey had just begun, and Liam was ready to follow wherever the clues would lead. The next morning, Liam woke up early, feeling the excitement of a new adventure. The forest was quiet, the sunlight breaking through the tall trees in golden beams. He packed a small bag with water, some food, a flashlight, and the maps and letters from the wooden box. He knew that today he would follow the first set of clues and explore deeper into the forest than he had ever gone before. His heart raced with anticipation. The first trail on the map led him past a stream that sparkled in the morning sun. Liam could hear the gentle sound of water moving over rocks. The map showed a symbol that looked like a small tree with a mark on the trunk. Liam looked around and soon noticed a tree that matched the drawing. Its bark had faint carvings, almost hidden by moss and time. Liam examined the tree closely and discovered a small notch at the base. It was just big enough to fit his hand. Inside the notch, he found a tiny metal key tied with a thin leather strap. Liam held it carefully, feeling a thrill run through him. He wondered what it might open. The letters from the box had mentioned keys, hidden doors, and compartments. Liam realized that this was likely one of the first steps toward uncovering something important. He put the key safely in his pocket and continued along the trail. As he walked, he noticed other signs that matched the maps. Unusual stones arranged in a pattern, a fallen branch that pointed in a specific direction, and a clearing surrounded by old oaks. Each discovery felt like a message left for him. Liam smiled, feeling a connection with the person who had hidden these clues. Whoever it was, they had thought carefully about every detail. Liam wondered about their life and why they had left these messages. He felt lucky to be the one following them. The trail eventually led to a small pond hidden behind a cluster of trees. The water was clear and calm, reflecting the sky and the surrounding forest. According to the map, the pond was an important landmark. Liam walked around it, examining the banks and the rocks. On the far side, partially covered by reeds, he noticed a flat stone that seemed different from the others. It had a small carved symbol similar to one he had seen on the tree earlier. Liam pushed the stone aside carefully and discovered a small wooden box hidden beneath it. The box was old but still in good condition. He opened it and found another set of letters and maps, along with a small pouch containing coins. The coins were old and looked valuable. Liam's excitement grew. He realized that these letters continued the story from the first box. They described hidden paths, secret spots, and instructions for finding something even bigger. The letters mentioned a cabin in another part of the forest, one that had been abandoned for decades. The maps showed the way, but the trail was not simple. It required careful observation, patience, and attention to small details. Liam knew that the person who had hidden these clues wanted the finder to be thoughtful, curious, and persistent. He felt proud. The challenge was exactly what he had hoped for. Liam decided to rest near the pond for a short while. He drank some water, ate a small snack, and looked around at the peaceful forest. The birds sang, and a gentle breeze moved the reeds near the water. He felt a deep sense of calm. Even though he was chasing a secret worth millions, the real treasure was this sense of discovery and the connection to the forest. Liam smiled, knowing that he had made the right choice to follow his instincts and buy the old hut. After his brief rest, he continued along the trail indicated on the new map. The path was narrow and sometimes overgrown, but Liam moved carefully, making sure not to miss any small signs. He noticed unusual marks on the trees, scratches that seemed intentional. Some stones on the ground were stacked in small piles, perhaps to guide him along the way. Every little detail made him feel closer to uncovering the secret. As the sun climbed higher, Liam reached a small hill that overlooked a valley. The valley was covered in thick trees, and in the distance, he could see the outline of an old cabin partially hidden by the forest. His heart leapt with excitement. The cabin matched the drawings on the map exactly. Liam carefully made his way down the hill, stepping lightly to avoid disturbing anything that might be part of the hidden trail. When he reached the cabin, Liam could see that it was old and abandoned. The wood was weathered, the roof had several holes, and the door looked fragile. Yet, there was a feeling of importance about the place. He remembered the letters and maps which hinted that this cabin might contain the next clue. Liam approached the door carefully and tested it. It creaked loudly but opened without resistance. Inside the cabin, dust covered the floor and the air smelled of old wood and leaves. Liam noticed several objects that seemed out of place. A loose floorboard caught his attention immediately. He lifted it and found another box, smaller than the first ones but sealed with a simple lock. Liam took out the metal key he had found at the tree and tried it on the lock. To his delight, it fit perfectly. Inside this box were more letters and a small journal. The journal belonged to the person who had hidden all these clues. It described the forest, the paths, and the reason for hiding the secret. Liam read carefully. The journal mentioned a treasure hidden somewhere in the forest, a treasure that was meant to be found by someone curious, careful, and patient. The journal emphasized respect for nature, honesty, and thoughtfulness. Liam felt proud that he had been chosen to follow this path. He spent the next hour examining the cabin, making notes in his own journal, and comparing the new letters with the maps he had. He realized that the final clue might be hidden deeper in the forest, perhaps near a landmark mentioned repeatedly in the letters. He felt a mixture of excitement and determination. The secret was close, and he could sense it. As evening approached, Liam decided to set up a small camp near the cabin. He built a fire and cooked a simple meal, thinking about the adventure. The forest was quiet, the birds had settled, and the fire crackled warmly. Liam reflected on how much his life had changed in just a few days. He had gone from being a villager who bought an old hut to a treasure hunter, following the clues of a person who had lived long ago. He went to sleep that night feeling both exhausted and eager. The forest seemed to watch over him, protective and mysterious. In his dreams, he imagined following the last path, discovering the hidden treasure and understanding the full story of the person who had left the clues. Liam knew that the next day would bring him even closer to the $4 million secret. The following morning, Liam woke up with the first light of the sun. He packed his things carefully, taking all the letters, maps, and journals with him. The path ahead was unclear, but the symbols on the maps pointed him in the right direction. He moved with caution and curiosity, examining every tree, rock, and stone along the way. Every small sign seemed to tell a story, guiding him further into the heart of the forest. Hours passed as he followed the trail. Liam felt a mixture of excitement and patience. knowing that rushing would only cause him to miss something important. The forest was dense, but he moved carefully, using the clues to guide his steps. Finally, he reached a clearing where the sunlight poured down in golden rays. In the center of the clearing was an ancient oak tree, larger than any he had ever seen. The letters and maps had mentioned this tree many times, describing it as a key landmark. Liam examined the tree closely. At the base, hidden among roots, he found a small hollow. Inside the hollow was another box, this one larger than the previous ones. His hands trembled as he opened it. Inside were gold coins, jewelry, and more letters describing the history of the treasure. Liam could hardly believe his eyes. He realized that the journey had led him to the first major part of the secret, something that had been hidden for decades, waiting for the right person to find it. Liam felt a deep sense of joy. The adventure was far from over, but he knew he had made incredible progress. The forest, once quiet and mysterious, now felt like a place of endless possibilities. The old hut, the letters, the maps, and the boxes had all led him here, and he could not wait to continue the journey and uncover the full secret that awaited him. Liam sat under the massive oak tree, surrounded by the golden glow of late afternoon. The hollow at its base had revealed the first major part of the treasure, but he knew there was more to discover. The letters and journals he had found spoke of a hidden vault, something far bigger and more valuable. Each note seemed to encourage patience, observation, and respect for the forest. Liam carefully packed the coins, jewelry, and papers into his bag and studied the maps once again. The journals described the vault as being hidden, where the sun meets the river and the hills embrace the forest. At first, Liam had no idea what this meant, but as he looked around the clearing, he noticed that the valley stretched into gentle hills, and a small stream wound its way through the forest. The map indicated a spot near the river's bend. Liam realized that the clues were meant to be solved by someone paying attention to nature, someone who could notice small details and patterns. He stood and began walking along the path the map suggested. The forest was alive with sounds. Birds chirped from the treetops, insects hummed among the bushes, and the occasional rustle of leaves suggested small animals moving about. Liam felt a strong sense of connection with the forest. Every step felt purposeful. He knew he was following the right trail, and the feeling of adventure pushed him forward. After an hour of careful walking, Liam reached a narrow part of the stream where the water was crystal clear and moved swiftly over smooth stones. He remembered a note in one of the letters that mentioned, "Stones that shine like the sun hold the path forward." Liam knelt by the water and examined the stones carefully. One stone, brighter than the others, had a small engraving of a symbol he had seen before, a circle with a line through it. He pressed the stone gently, and to his surprise, a small panel slid open in the bank of the stream. Inside the panel was a folded piece of parchment, soaked slightly from the water but still legible. It contained another map and additional instructions. Liam studied it carefully. The map showed a series of landmarks, 3 unusual trees in a triangular pattern, a pile of rocks shaped like a pyramid, and a hill with a flat top. The parchment emphasized patience, careful observation, and honesty. Liam smiled. He had begun to understand that this journey was as much about character as it was about treasure. He followed the new map, moving slowly and observing every detail. Soon he arrived at the first set of 3 trees, each unusual in its own way. One was bent sharply, one had a hollow in its trunk, and the third had a knot shaped like a heart. According to the parchment, he needed to stand at the heart-shaped knot and look toward the other 2 trees. Liam did exactly that and noticed a faint path marked by small piles of leaves and stones, almost hidden from plain sight. Liam followed the path carefully. The piles of leaves and stones led him over a gentle slope and into a small clearing. At the center of the clearing was a pile of rocks shaped like a pyramid, just as the map had indicated. Liam examined the rocks closely and realized that one of them was slightly loose. He pushed it aside and found another key, similar to the one he had found at the oak tree. This key was larger and heavier, clearly meant for something more important. The letters had mentioned that the final vault required both observation and courage. Liam understood that he was very close to the ultimate secret. He took the key and continued along the path indicated on the map, moving carefully as the forest grew denser. The sunlight was fading and shadows stretched across the ground, but Liam felt no fear. He had come this far, and he trusted his instincts. After walking for some time, Liam reached the base of a small hill with a flat top. The map showed this hill as the location of the final clue. He examined the hill carefully, noticing small markings on the rocks and patterns in the grass. According to the letters, the vault was hidden beneath a natural stone formation at the top of the hill. Liam began to climb, taking care with each step. The path was steep, but the forest offered natural handholds, and he moved steadily. When he reached the top, Liam found a large flat rock with a shallow depression in the center. The letters had hinted at this kind of formation, describing it as the heart of the hill. Liam knelt and examined the rock carefully. There were faint carvings around the edge, symbols that matched those in the journals. He pressed the symbols in the order he had seen them before, following the instructions from the letters. To his amazement, a section of the rock slowly slid aside, revealing a small staircase leading downward. Liam took a deep breath. He had discovered the entrance to the hidden vault. He carefully descended the stairs, flashlight in hand. The air was cool and smelled of stone and earth. The stairs led to a chamber, surprisingly large and well hidden from the outside world. Liam could hardly believe what he was seeing. The chamber was filled with carefully stored treasures, more than he had imagined. Gold coins, jewelry, old paintings, and historical artifacts were neatly arranged. It was clear that this treasure had been hidden for decades, possibly longer. Among the treasures, Liam found a large chest with an intricate lock. The key he had found at the rock pyramid fit perfectly. He opened the chest and saw bundles of gold, rare gems, and stacks of valuable documents. Liam could hardly contain his excitement. The treasure was far more than he had imagined. It was clear now why the letters and maps had been so careful to guide a worthy person to this place. This was a secret that could change his life. As he explored the vault, Liam noticed more letters and journals left by the person who had hidden the treasure. They described the importance of honesty, patience, and respect for nature. The treasure had been hidden not just for wealth, but for someone who could appreciate the journey, someone who could follow the clues without greed or carelessness. Liam felt a deep respect for the person who had left this remarkable legacy. Hours passed as Liam examined the treasures. He made careful notes and photographs with his phone to remember the arrangement of items. He felt a strong sense of responsibility. This treasure was not just valuable, it was a part of history. Every coin, gem, and document had a story. Liam understood that the journey had taught him more than he had ever expected. It had taught him patience, careful observation, and the joy of discovery. As evening approached, Liam decided to leave the vault temporarily and return to the hut. He carefully marked the entrance and ensured that nothing was disturbed. The forest outside was calm, the sun setting in shades of orange and pink. Liam felt a mixture of excitement and reflection. He had discovered an incredible secret, but he also understood that this was just the beginning of fully understanding the treasure and its history. Back at the hut, Liam spread out the letters and maps he had collected throughout the day. He compared notes, organized the journals, and wrote down every observation. He felt proud of himself for following the clues carefully and patiently. He realized that the villagers who had mocked him for buying the old hut had no idea about the adventure and discovery that awaited him. Liam smiled quietly to himself, feeling satisfied and determined to continue. That night, Liam slept deeply, feeling the peace of the forest around him. He dreamed of hidden rooms, secret passages, and treasures waiting to be discovered. He imagined the journey ahead, following more clues and understanding the full story of the person who had hidden the treasure. The forest, once quiet and ordinary, now felt like a magical place full of mystery and promise. The next morning, Liam woke early, filled with energy and anticipation. He packed his things carefully, ready to explore more parts of the forest that the journals had hinted at. The ultimate secret, the full treasure, was still out there. He knew that with patience, observation, and respect for the forest, he would uncover it. Liam stepped out of the hut, feeling the thrill of adventure and the joy of being part of something extraordinary. Liam spent the early morning at the hut reviewing all the journals, letters, and maps he had collected. The discoveries in the hidden vault had amazed him, but he knew there was more to understand. The treasure was not just gold and jewels. It had a story behind it, a history waiting to be discovered. Liam carefully studied each letter and map, comparing the handwriting, symbols, and locations. The more he read, the more he felt connected to the person who had hidden the treasure decades ago. The letters described the treasure as a collection of wealth, history, and secrets. It had been accumulated by someone who valued knowledge and patience over greed. They had carefully hidden it in the forest, leaving clues that only someone thoughtful could follow. Liam realized that the journey itself was a lesson. Every step, every discovery, and every challenge had been designed to teach patience, observation, and respect for nature. With renewed determination, Liam prepared to return to the vault. He packed water, snacks, a flashlight, and all the maps he had gathered. He checked the surroundings carefully, making sure that he remembered the exact path to the entrance. The forest had grown brighter in the morning sun, with shadows shifting gently among the trees. Liam felt the thrill of adventure as he walked toward the hill with the flat top. Upon reaching the vault entrance, Liam descended the stone staircase slowly. The chamber smelled of earth and stone, and the treasures inside glimmered under the beam of his flashlight. Liam carefully examined the chest he had unlocked before, this time focusing on the smaller boxes and bundles that he had not fully explored. Each item seemed to have a story: coins from distant lands, jewelry with intricate designs, and documents with detailed records showed that the treasure was collected over many years. Among the items, Liam found a series of sealed letters written by the treasure's original owner. These letters explained how the treasure was gathered, what each piece meant, and why it had been hidden in the forest. The owner had been a careful collector, someone who wanted to preserve knowledge and value for the right person to find. Liam realized that this was not just about wealth. It was about understanding, appreciation, and discovery. The journals also contained puzzles and riddles, small codes that pointed to the most valuable part of the treasure. Liam carefully followed the instructions. Each step required attention to detail, observation, and patience. One riddle led him to a hidden compartment beneath a large stone slab. Another revealed a set of ancient documents stored in a protective wooden box. Liam felt a sense of wonder as he uncovered each secret, realizing how cleverly the treasure had been hidden. Hours passed as Liam worked through the puzzles. He felt a deep connection to the forest and to the person who had hidden the treasure. The letters spoke of respect for the environment, honesty, and the importance of patience. Liam understood that the vault was a test as much as a reward. It was a challenge to prove that he was the right person to uncover the full secret. The more he explored, the more he admired the intelligence and care that had gone into hiding the treasure. At one point, Liam discovered a small locked box hidden behind a pile of documents. The key he had found at the oak tree did not fit this lock. He studied the box carefully, noticing a pattern of symbols carved into the wood. Comparing the symbols with the letters and maps, he realized that the solution was a combination rather than a key. Liam counted carefully, arranging the symbols in the order suggested by the journals. With a quiet click, the box opened. Inside, he found a collection of rare coins and gems, each more beautiful than the last. Among these items was a folded piece of parchment, different from the letters he had seen before. The parchment contained a map leading to the final location, the ultimate secret that had been carefully concealed. The map showed a hidden area deep within the forest, near a small waterfall that had not appeared on any previous map. Liam realized that this was the last step of the journey, the final piece of the puzzle that would reveal the full treasure. Excited but cautious, Liam packed the new items carefully. He followed the map out of the vault and retraced his steps through the forest. The sunlight filtered through the trees, and the forest seemed alive with whispers of the past. Each step toward the waterfall felt like moving closer to history itself. Liam's heart beat with anticipation. He had never felt such excitement, yet he also felt calm and focused. The journey had taught him patience, and now it was time to see the final secret. After a long walk, Liam finally heard the sound of water. He followed the gentle rushing until he reached a small, hidden waterfall. The water sparkled in the sunlight, falling into a clear pool surrounded by rocks and ferns. The map indicated that the secret lay behind the waterfall. Liam carefully stepped closer, observing the rocks and plants. Behind the curtain of water, he saw a narrow passage leading into a dark cavern. His heart leapt with excitement. He had found the entrance to the final chamber. With a deep breath, Liam stepped behind the waterfall. The air was cool and damp, and the sound of rushing water surrounded him. He switched on his flashlight and carefully moved along the passage. The walls were smooth, and he could see signs that someone had been there before, leaving markings to guide the way. Liam followed the path with caution, feeling a mixture of excitement and reverence. He knew that the ultimate secret was close, and he wanted to discover it carefully. At the end of the passage, Liam found a large stone door, partially hidden by moss and vines. The door had intricate carvings and a small keyhole. He realized that the key from the oak tree, which he had used before, would likely open it. Liam inserted the key, turned it slowly, and the door creaked open to reveal a chamber unlike anything he had imagined. The chamber was spacious and filled with light from small openings in the ceiling. In the center was a large chest, surrounded by smaller boxes, rare artifacts, and bundles of gold and jewels. Liam could hardly believe his eyes. This was the final treasure, the culmination of the journey. He approached the chest carefully, taking note of the items around it. Each piece seemed to have been placed with care, as if the original owner wanted everything to be discovered in order. Liam opened the chest and found stacks of gold bars, rare coins, and gemstones of every color. The chest also contained documents proving the value of the treasure, confirming that it was worth millions. Liam felt a wave of excitement and gratitude. He realized that the treasure was more than just wealth. It was a testament to patience, intelligence, and respect for the forest. The journey had taught him skills and values far more valuable than gold. As he explored the chamber, Liam found letters addressed to the person who would eventually discover the treasure. They spoke of trust, responsibility, and the importance of sharing the story. The original owner wanted the finder to use the treasure wisely and to continue the legacy of respect, curiosity, and careful observation. Liam felt a deep sense of responsibility. He knew that he had been chosen because he had approached the journey with honesty, patience, and care. Hours passed as Liam examined every item, read every letter, and carefully documented everything. He made plans to secure the treasure and ensure that the story would be preserved. The forest outside was calm and quiet, but inside the chamber, Liam felt a sense of awe and accomplishment. He had followed the clues, solved the riddles, and discovered a secret that had been hidden for decades. By evening, Liam returned to the hut, carrying some of the smaller items and leaving the larger treasures carefully secured in the chamber. He lit a fire and reflected on the day's discoveries. The journey had been long and challenging, but it had been worth every moment. Liam felt proud, not only because of the treasure he had found, but because of the lessons he had learned. Patience, observation, and respect had guided him to the ultimate secret, a treasure worth more than money alone. As night fell, Liam sat by the fire, looking at the stars through the broken windows of the hut. He thought about the original owner of the treasure, the careful planning, and the legacy left behind. Liam knew that the journey was not only about wealth, but about understanding, growth, and discovery. The forest, once ordinary, had become a place of magic and wonder. He felt a deep sense of gratitude for being part of this extraordinary adventure. The next morning, Liam awoke in his small hut with a feeling of quiet excitement. The forest outside was bathed in soft sunlight, and birds sang as if celebrating his discoveries. He had uncovered the hidden chambers, solved the riddles, and located the treasure. But today he felt ready to understand the full scope of what he had found. The letters, journals, and maps were laid out neatly on the old wooden table, and Liam carefully reviewed them. Every detail mattered. The final letters in the vault revealed the story behind the treasure. They described a wealthy but humble collector who had spent decades gathering coins, jewelry, rare artifacts, and historical documents from around the world. This person had loved knowledge and beauty more than fame or recognition. They had hidden the treasure in the forest because it was a safe, secret place far from prying eyes. They had also left the clues to ensure that only someone who was patient, careful, and respectful could find it. Liam understood the full meaning of these words. The journey had been designed to test the finder's character. Every map, letter, and puzzle had required patience, attention, and honesty. Those who were careless or greedy would not succeed. Liam felt a sense of pride and gratitude. He realized that the real reward was not just the gold and jewels, but the lessons he had learned along the way. He decided to visit the hidden chamber one last time. The forest path seemed familiar now, and Liam walked confidently, observing every sign along the way. The waterfall glimmered in the sunlight, and he carefully moved through the passage to the stone door. The key fit perfectly, and the chamber welcomed him with its cool, calm air. Liam switched on his flashlight and marveled at the treasures arranged inside. He began organizing the items, grouping them by type and importance. Gold bars, rare coins, and gems were stored together. Historical documents and letters were placed carefully in protective boxes. Liam noticed that the original collector had thought of every detail. Everything was neat, logical, and preserved with care. He felt a deep respect for the person who had hidden this treasure. Realizing the love and effort that went into its collection and protection. Among the items, Liam found a final set of documents that confirmed the treasure's value. The gold, jewels, coins, and historical artifacts were worth more than $4 million. Beyond the monetary value, the treasure held knowledge, history, and beauty. Liam felt a mix of excitement and responsibility. He knew he could use this wealth to improve his life, but he also understood the importance of respecting the legacy left behind. As Liam examined the documents, he noticed a letter addressed to him. The handwriting was elegant and careful. The letter welcomed him as the rightful finder of the treasure and encouraged him to continue the journey of learning and discovery. It emphasized that the greatest value was not the money, but the lessons learned, the patience practiced, and the respect earned. Liam smiled as he read the words. He realized that this treasure was a gift in more ways than one. Liam spent the rest of the day exploring the chamber and documenting everything. He made careful notes and photographs, ensuring that he would remember every detail. He also reflected on the journey that had brought him here. From the moment he bought the old hut, mocked by the villagers, to following the intricate maps and letters, every step had been an adventure filled with discovery and learning. The forest had become more than a home. It had become a teacher and a companion. When the sun began to set, Liam returned to his hut, carrying a few smaller treasures to study more closely. The forest was quiet and beautiful, with soft light filtering through the trees. Liam set up a small workspace near the fireplace and began examining the smaller items he had brought back. Gems, coins, and old documents fascinated him. Each piece told a story, and Liam felt as if he were connecting with the past, understanding the lives and experiences of the people who had once valued and protected these treasures. Over the next few days, Liam organized the vault further. He secured the larger items, carefully documenting their positions and condition. He also wrote his own reflections, noting the lessons learned and the discoveries made. Liam felt a strong sense of satisfaction and purpose. He realized that the journey had changed him. He had grown more patient, observant, and thoughtful. The treasure had been a teacher, guiding him to develop qualities far more valuable than gold. Word of Liam's discovery slowly reached the villagers, who had once mocked him for buying the old hut. Many of them were surprised and curious. They visited the edge of the forest to see him, asking questions about his adventures. Liam welcomed their interest but never revealed the exact location of the vault. He explained that the forest and its secrets required respect and careful attention. The villagers began to understand that Liam's success was not just about luck or money, but about patience, intelligence, and dedication. One morning, Liam decided to explore the forest without a map, trusting his instincts and memory. He walked along trails he had followed before, noticing small details that had guided him during the treasure hunt. The forest felt familiar and comforting. Birds sang from the treetops and the sunlight danced across the leaves. Liam felt a deep connection to the land and to the person who had hidden the treasure. It was as if the forest itself was congratulating him for his careful journey. During this walk, Liam found a small clearing he had not noticed before. In the center, he discovered a simple stone marker with a carved symbol, similar to those in the letters and maps. He realized it was a reminder from the original collector, a small message acknowledging his success and encouraging him to continue valuing knowledge, patience, and respect. Liam smiled, feeling a sense of gratitude and responsibility. He knew the journey was complete, yet its lessons would stay with him forever. As days turned into weeks, Liam carefully decided how to use the treasure. He improved the old hut, making it comfortable while preserving its charm. He invested in projects to protect the forest, ensuring that the area remained beautiful and untouched. He also shared knowledge with the villagers, teaching them about patience, careful observation, and respect for nature. Liam's life had changed in many ways, but he never lost sight of the lessons he had learned on his journey. Liam also spent time studying the historical documents and rare artifacts in the treasure. He realized that these items had educational and cultural value. Some of the letters contained stories of distant lands, adventures, and discoveries. Liam appreciated the opportunity to connect with the past, understanding the experiences and knowledge of those who had come before him. He felt honored to be part of this legacy. In the evenings, Liam often sat by the fireplace in his hut, reflecting on his journey. He thought about the villagers who had mocked him, the forest that had guided him, and the person who had left the treasure. Liam realized that every step, every clue, and every challenge had been meaningful. The forest had taught him patience, curiosity, and appreciation for details. The treasure had taught him responsibility, respect, and gratitude. Months passed, and Liam's story became well known. People from nearby towns visited to hear about his journey, though he never revealed the location of the vault. They admired his dedication, patience, and intelligence. Liam inspired others to appreciate the value of observation, careful thinking, and respect for nature. He knew that the real treasure was not only the gold and jewels, but the lessons and growth that came from following the journey with integrity and care. One evening, Liam walked through the forest, reflecting on everything he had experienced. The trees swayed gently in the wind, birds called from the branches, and sunlight streamed through the canopy. He felt a deep sense of peace and fulfillment. The journey had been long, challenging, and rewarding. Liam realized that his life had been transformed, not by the treasure alone, but by the adventure, the lessons, and the connection to the forest. As Liam returned to his hut that night, he felt a quiet joy. He had uncovered the $4 million secret, solved the puzzles, and respected the legacy of the treasure's original owner. Yet he also knew that the greatest reward was the journey itself. The forest had taught him, guided him, and welcomed him as part of its story. Liam smiled, realizing that he had discovered far more than wealth. He had discovered wisdom, patience, and a sense of purpose that would stay with him forever. Liam settled by the fireplace, feeling the warmth and peace of the hut he had restored. The treasures he had found were secure, documented, and respected. The forest outside was quiet and magical, a place of beauty, history, and wonder. Liam knew that he had honored the intentions of the person who had hidden the treasure. He had learned to appreciate the journey as much as the destination. In the quiet of the evening, Liam reflected on the lesson that had guided him through the entire adventure. Patience, observation, and respect would always lead to greater rewards than greed or haste. He realized that this journey had prepared him for anything, teaching him to value wisdom and care above all. The $4 million treasure was impressive, but it was the experience, growth, and understanding that truly enriched his life.